Let's jump straight into it. Number 10. Jamestown and the Horror of Starvation. The winter of 1609 in Jamestown, Virginia, stands as one of the darkest chapters in early American history. What began as a hopeful English settlement quickly turned into a nightmare of survival. A powerful hurricane had scattered and delayed the colony's supply ships. The few that eventually reached Jamestown were damaged and carried far fewer resources than expected. The settlers, already struggling, were left with almost nothing. This period would later be called the Starving Time, and the name doesn't even begin to capture how bad things became. Food supplies disappeared rapidly. Crops failed due to harsh conditions. Trade with the Powhatan tribe broke down completely, cutting off a critical lifeline. The colonists were trapped inside their wooden fort, surrounded by uncertainty and fear. At first, they turned to whatever food sources remained. Horses were slaughtered, then dogs, then cats. Rats were hunted and eaten. Even the leather from shoes and belts was boiled down and consumed. But hunger is relentless. When there was nothing left, the line between survival and humanity began to blur. The settlers began consuming the dead. Eyewitness accounts from survivors describe horrifying acts. One of the most disturbing tells of a man who murdered his own pregnant wife, then preserved and ate her flesh. When his crime was discovered, he was executed, but it revealed just how far desperation had pushed people. For centuries, many historians refused to believe these accounts. They were dismissed as exaggerations or anti-English propaganda. Then, in 2012, undeniable physical evidence emerged. Archaeologists excavating a trash pit at Jamestown uncovered the remains of a teenage girl. Her skull told a chilling story. There were precise cut marks across her face and forehead, suggesting deliberate removal of flesh. The back of the skull showed rough, hesitant blows, as if someone inexperienced had tried to break it open. Her jaw had been forcibly pried apart. Forensic experts concluded that her brain and facial tissue had been removed and consumed. She was given the name Jane. Even more disturbing, her remains were discarded with animal bones, treated as nothing more than waste. After centuries of doubt, the truth became undeniable. Number 9. Rogue waves. From myth to measured reality. For generations, sailors shared terrifying stories of enormous waves, sudden, towering walls of water rising from otherwise calm seas. These waves seemed to defy logic. Scientists dismissed these stories as exaggerations. According to traditional wave theories, waves exceeding 100 feet were nearly impossible, events that should occur perhaps once in 100,000 years. The conclusion? Sailors must have been mistaken. But the ocean had other plans. Ships began disappearing under mysterious circumstances. Massive vessels vanished without sending distress signals. No warnings, no clues, just gone. In one chilling case, wreckage revealed a lifeboat found crushed and twisted, discovered dozens of feet above sea level on debris. The only explanation was an immense force, something far beyond ordinary waves. Then came the breakthrough moment. On January 1, 1995, a laser sensor installed on an oil platform in the North Sea recorded a single wave measuring 84 feet in height. What made it even more shocking was that it appeared among waves only half that size. For the first time, a rogue wave had been scientifically confirmed. The discovery didn't stop there. In 2001, satellite monitoring revealed multiple rogue waves across the oceans, several exceeding 80 feet, all within a matter of weeks. What was once believed to be a rare phenomenon turned out to be far more common. Scientists eventually explained the mechanism behind these waves. When different wave systems intersect, their energies can combine through a process known as constructive interference. This creates a massive, steep wall of water, often preceded by a deep trough. These waves rise suddenly, strike with enormous force, and disappear just as quickly. The sailors had not been exaggerating. They had been describing reality. Number 8. The asteroid that changed life on Earth. Approximately 66 million years ago, Earth experienced one of the most catastrophic events in its history, an extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs and many other forms of life. For decades, scientists debated what could have caused such widespread destruction. Some believed it was due to gradual climate changes. Others suggested volcanic activity. Then came a controversial theory, a massive asteroid impact. At first, this idea was rejected. It sounded too extreme, too dramatic, more like a plot from a science fiction story than a serious scientific explanation. But the evidence began to build. Scientists discovered a thin layer of iridium in rock formations all over the world. This metal is extremely rare on Earth but common in asteroids. Even more intriguing, this layer dated back exactly 66 million years. Then came the discovery that changed everything. Hidden beneath the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico was a massive crater, over 150 kilometers wide. This was the impact site. The asteroid that struck Earth released unimaginable energy, billions of times greater than atomic bombs. The impact triggered massive earthquakes, global wildfires, and sent enormous amounts of dust and debris into the atmosphere. Sunlight was blocked for years. Plants died. Ecosystems collapsed. The food chain broke down completely. The extinction of the dinosaurs was no longer a mystery. It was the result of a single devastating event. Number 7. The theory that moved continents. In the early 20th century, a scientist noticed something unusual. The continents seemed to fit together like puzzle pieces. South America and Africa, in particular, appeared to match almost perfectly. Even more surprising, identical fossils were found on continents separated by vast oceans. This led to a revolutionary idea. The continents were once joined together and had slowly drifted apart. But the idea was mocked. Scientists rejected it because there was no clear explanation for how continents could move. Instead, alternative theories were proposed, including the idea of land bridges that had mysteriously sunk into the ocean. The concept of moving continents was dismissed as absurd. Years later, new discoveries changed everything. The ocean floor revealed massive ridges where new crust was forming, pushing continents apart. The idea that was once ridiculed became the foundation of modern geology. Number 6. The universe had a beginning. At one time, the universe was believed to be eternal, unchanging, and infinite. Then a new idea emerged. What if the universe had a beginning? This concept was controversial because it challenged long-held beliefs. But the mathematics supported it, and then came the evidence. Scientists detected a faint background radiation coming from every direction in space, the leftover heat from the early universe. It was proof that everything had once been compressed into a single point before expanding outward. The universe was not eternal. It had a starting point. Number 5. Genes that don't stay still. For many years, genes were thought to be fixed, permanent structures that never changed position. But new research revealed something surprising. Genes could move. They could shift locations within DNA, turning other genes on or off and influencing how organisms develop. At first, this idea was ignored because it didn't fit existing theories, but later discoveries confirmed it. These jumping genes are now known to exist in many organisms, including humans. They play a major role in evolution and genetic diversity. Number 4. Humans are living partnerships. Inside every human cell are structures responsible for producing energy, but these structures were once independent organisms. Ancient bacteria formed a partnership with early cells, eventually becoming a permanent part of them. This idea was initially rejected, but evidence showed that these structures have their own DNA and behave like independent organisms. Today, it is understood that complex life exists because of this ancient collaboration. Number 3. When proteins become infectious. A mysterious brain disease led to a shocking discovery. The cause was not a virus or bacteria. It was a protein. A misfolded protein could spread its abnormal shape to other proteins, creating a chain reaction that damaged brain tissue. This idea was once considered impossible, but it turned out to be true. These infectious proteins are now linked to several serious diseases. Number 2. The real cause of ulcers. For years, ulcers were blamed on stress and diet, but the real cause was something entirely different. Bacteria. Scientists discovered that certain bacteria could survive in the stomach and cause inflammation. At first, this idea was rejected, but experiments proved it. A simple course of antibiotics could cure ulcers completely. Number 1. The life-saving power of clean hands. In the 19th century, hospitals were dangerous places. Many patients died from infections, especially women during childbirth. One doctor discovered the reason. Medical staff were spreading disease by not washing their hands. When hand washing was introduced, death rates dropped dramatically. But the idea was rejected. It took years before this simple practice became accepted. Today, it is one of the most important habits in medicine. That's all for today. More powerful and unbelievable true stories are